Everybody, Randy Patrick here. Welcome to Housing Bubble 2.0 News of the Week, or as I like to call it, another episode of As the Housing Market Turns. Lots going on in the news today. Today was another one of those days that I call a information release day. So, we got stuff to talk about for a change, which is good. That's me, Randy Patrick. And by the way, today is October the 22nd, 2019. We're going to focus on NAR, National Association of Realtors. Today released their existing home sales information for September. Now, if you are not already a subscriber, please help our channel grow and click the subscribe button on the bottom right of your screen. Thank you very much. Also, just some housekeeping things before I get started. Free report download. You want to talk about the 50 most markets that are most risk of a downturn, go to housingbubble2.com. You can grab your download there. And by the way, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, I've got a fall foreclosure seminar going on this week at the Hampton Inn, Tampa Avion Park, West Shore on Thursday, 7 to 9:30 p.m., $10 at the door. Email me for more information. All right, guys. So let's get going on this. So number one news of the day, basically, for me is really the I guess you could say existing home sales. So existing home sales decreased 2.2% in September. So August to September with a 2.2% decrease in sales volume, which is not surprising. So according to National Association of Realtors, existing home sales receded in September following 2 consecutive months of increases. According to NAR, each of the 4 major regions across the country witnessed sales drop off last month, Midwest absorbing the brunt of those declines. So sales fell 2.2% from August to September. However, despite the decline, the overall sales were still up 3.9% from a year ago. So funny enough, even though because August was a pretty big month as far as getting sales volume, so the decline still happened, but in the end, the year-over-year September still showed a positive increase. Now, interesting, when you go through that, the median existing home price for all homes across the board in September was $272,000, up 5.9% year over year from September of last year. So a little bit of a gain there. Total housing inventory was a decrease. Basically, September's inventory was the same as August inventory, but was a 2.7% decrease from a year ago in September. So we maintained month to month, and we actually dropped from the previous year. Unsold inventory sits at 4.1 months supply at the current sales pace. And according to sort of what's accepted averages and statistics, a 6-month supply on average would be a balanced market between buyers and sellers. So just keep that in mind. So when you go down to the regional breakdown, that's kind of where the interesting stuff comes into play here. Midwest existing home sales dropped 3.1%, and South decreased 2.1%. Existing home sales in the West declined 0.9%. And let's take a look here. Northeast fell 2.8%. So there you go. So we've had, some of the countries showing some declines, but again, year over year, we're still up a little bit. Now, if we go into a little more deeper information here with respect to NAR, you can go right to their website and pick this information off here. And FYI, I'm not going to be posting stuff on here anymore just because I realize it's tough to see, so I'll just scroll some information up here on the side. But showing graphs and stuff is too difficult based on the lighting. I've messed around that. We'll do something different in the future. Okay, so basically when it boils down to your home sales by region, obviously when you talk about volume of homes, most of the homes are being sold in the South, which is 42% of the homes sold in the South, 24% are sold in the Midwest, 21% in the West, and only 13% of homes sales volume was in the Northeast. If I take a look at the market conditions, when we take a look at the breakdown of who's buying and who's selling and what's going on, first-time home buyers were 33% of the sales. That's actually up a point from this time last year. Sales to investors were down 2 points to 14% of sales from 16% the year before. Cash sales are only 17% compared to 21% a year before. And distressed sales were, again, 2% of the overall market, which is down from 3% a year ago. And distressed sales, which what I like to focus on, distressed sales are typically foreclosed homes that are on the MLS, which are called REOs, real estate owned, they've been taken back by the lender, and short sales that are listed in the MLS as well too. So that little segment makes up 2% of the overall sales across the board across the country. So there you go. And out of the 2%, typically less than half of that is attributed to short sales. There's more REOs that get sold than actual short sales, which, as I always mention to people, that's the opportunity right there, is the fact that we know that foreclosures filings are increasing. They ebb and flow in various states, but they are overall increasing in 35 to 40% of the states across the market here. So that's an opportunity as an untapped inventory for people who want to participate, either purchase retail-wise or want to look to invest. So please keep that in mind. I can talk to you about that further. So just that's interesting news. That tends to be stagnant or plateauing, etc. So really, when you look at the price point and decreases and increases, so increase, we've got the sales by price range. So the majority of the sales by price range, it's funny, it was actually equal. So in the 250 to 500K range, 38% of the sales occurred in that range. In the 100 to 250K range, which is what we would call affordable housing, 38% of the sales were in that range as well too. So you've got basically 76% of the market from 100 to 500K, which tends to make sense. Now the, I guess you could say the sub 100K market was 8%. The over 1 million market was 3%. The 500K to 1 million market was 13%. So the bulk of the sales are really going to be in that sub 500 level, and what I call affordable sales, 100 to 250K, again 38% of all the sales. Now what's happening is we know that even though we still see price increases coming across the board, albeit very small, the real issue is the lack of inventory. So inventory now is starting to become a problem. And as I always mention, that there's untapped areas there that we could delve into, but people really don't care to look or check that market out. So we're all competing for the same amount of property that's out there. So every month the sales in that 500 or sub 100K level is less and less. This time we actually had a little bit of an increase in the 100 to 250K sales level, 2.4%. So it's a little more than last year, and we've been seeing every month the year over year has been in that range, has been a decrease like because of lack of inventory. So we actually saw 2.4% increase in that affordable housing area as far as sales are concerned, sales volume. But again, that's not enough, and that's typically what all the economists, and especially the National Association of Realtor economists, are saying, that the reason why we're still posting some reasonably modest increases in median sales prices because of the lack of inventory. So there's still in certain segments it's still struggling for many people in different locations across the country. So that's why we're still seeing the volume or the increases coming across the board, albeit smaller and smaller. That's the scoop on that. So really, again, not a heck of a lot changing from August. A little bit of a drop. I do believe things will slow down as when we look at the purchase applications. More, and again, realize that September sales are based on previous contracts. So when the pending indexes are reasonable from July and August, we're having sales in September. I know the pendings are kind of going down now, so I expect that we'll see sales slowing down October, November, December area for sure. So that's a scoop on that. Now, something that I find is quite interesting is Mr. Shiller, Mr. Robert Shiller, who of course is the Yale University professor, Nobel Prize winner for his work as an economist, and co-creator of the Case-Shiller U.S. Home Price Index, actually was interviewed again and was talking about the narratives. He calls them narratives, and I guess he's released a new book called Narrative Economics. So of course he's making the rounds now, talking about things. And to be upfront, he kind of has done a little bit of a flip-flop on changing his tune with respect to what's happening in the economy. And according to him, that the current administration is creating current presidential administration, government administration, is creating an environment that's conducive to strong consumer spending, and it's a major force that should hold off a recession. which I find kind of interesting because what we're seeing out there is, people maxing out on student loan debt, maxing out on mortgage debt, maxing out on credit card debt, subprime auto loan, max issues, the whole bit. So, I don't know where people are getting all this money to increase spending, but apparently he said this is still going on. The economy is strong, should hold off a recession, which is contrary to some of his earlier discussions about a month ago where he's saying a recession should be coming up around the corner anytime. So consumers are hanging in there. You might wonder why that would be at this time so late into the cycle. This is the longest expansion ever. So typically we have expansion and contraction in cycles. Since the last housing crisis, we're 10 plus years now out of that. So he said that this is lingering on long, and it needs some sort of explanation as to why this expansion is lingering on. So basically, he has his new book out called Narrative Economics. He believes Americans are still opening their wallets based on what is, exemplified as consumption. So people are still buying, whether you're buying on credit or a debt, whatever it is, you're still buying and consuming. So therefore, the economy still appears to be strong, and that's his perspective on things. I look at it going, Shiller contends the next recession may not hit for another 3 years, and it could be mild, which that's kind of, for me, the difference in what he's saying before, where we're looking, at maybe a year to 18 months, and now he's saying possibly another 3 years, and it's not going to be that big a deal. So those are contrary to his further statements. I don't know whether he's changing for his tune based on real economic data, on the fact that he's releasing his book now, on the fact that maybe he's working on behalf of people, because there's election coming up. Like, I don't know, and I'm not surmising anything, but I just think it's interesting that, and a little bit suspect that he's kind of changed his opinion on things. A lot of stuff I read and listen to, people are talking about yield curves and what happens after the yield curve inverts and things like that. The fact that we're through this expansion cycle, and it's got to come to an end at some point in time. It's, as I said, it's we've had life support. We've put the economy on life support. We're dropping interest rates. It's still not making a big difference in housing, albeit we're seeing a little bit of increase, but not the savior we thought it would be. So we're not out of the woods yet, folks, and that's just I just find it a little bit odd that he's kind of changed his tune a little bit, which to me is unsettling. All right, and again, what I have found out is I'm certainly getting a lot more people contacting me with respect to foreclosures and short sales. That's kind of what I wanted to end off here today, is the fact that there seems to be this sentiment. And when I say people, I'm talking a lot maybe real estate investors and real estate agents or brokers. And people are kind of, they've got the feeling, I guess we'll call it a feeling, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like there's this tension going out there in the housing industry that, they can see that the buyers are not responding. They can see that sellers are getting really kind of antsy out there and stuff's not moving, but they know that they're seeing some foreclosure filings increase in their area, and they see just stuff going on. So there seems to be this overall sentiment that things are getting worse and that the housing market really can't go on much longer at the pace it is with these increases, just because the buyers aren't there, and we're kind of dwindling right now. So people are feeling it now. They feel that we've been pushed too far, that there has to be some changes. Now, I have noticed too, I'm going to say that I've seen what I would call some troubling signs recently in our local markets here with respect to the foreclosure process and what's going on with the filings, the timing, the court system, the judges, the lenders, the whole bit. So I am seeing some changes, and to me it is troubling because those changes will negatively affect homeowners. That's the ultimate bottom line here. So what I've seen out there in the industry, it does not bode well for homeowners that are having problems, difficulty paying their mortgage, looking for solutions, things like that. So, what I have to do and what I'm doing is making the necessary business adjustments in our operations to, react and work with that, and to already figure out solutions of how we can attack it and how we can help homeowners. So it's just going to be a little different approach here with some other tools and some things that we sort of thinking of, we think of on the fly. We look for solutions and try to implement them. That's the best we can do. So got some new things we're going to implement for homeowners that are facing this situation. But, it boils down to you got to understand what the market's giving you, and you got to work from there. So as I said, people, there seems to be the sentiment that we can feel the tension. And it's not just me, others in different parts of the country. It's not just me and where I live here. It's other locations, yes, in Florida, New York area, LA area, other Vegas, other parts are feeling this as well too. And the general sentiment from people is that it can't go on much longer. There has to be a breaking point. It's just, it's just not going to work anymore. So I tend to agree with them. Again, the next thing is being one step ahead of the game, figuring out how to work within these new rules, these new policies, and helping people get through their foreclosure process, unscathed, and working, and just getting stuff done. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So again, appreciate the views. This was not going to be a long one today. Everybody, I know everyone's busy. I've got, as I said, some op-ed stuff I'm going to do as the week goes on, but just wanted to get this, to me, this is fresh news. It needs to get out. There's always something going on in the housing industry, so it's never a dull moment, but things are changing on different fronts. So again, thank you for the views, the comments, the likes. Please share the video. If you're not a subscriber, as it says, please subscribe, help my channel grow. If you're looking for more information on real estate knowledge, especially general real estate investing, drop me a line. I've got my Never Pay Retail program that I keep working on, keep adding to and deploying. And if you're looking for some truly unique ways of entering the market, I have my advanced short sale training course. Inquire with me. Hit my email, which has been scrolling here. And again, that's the free report download. That's the 50 top markets that are most at risk at facing a housing downturn. I know some of you have downloaded that now because I've seen that going on. So you keep jumping on that, which is great. You can contact me at my email. It's the best way. And if you do contact me, please leave me your phone number so I can get back to you. Also, fall foreclosure seminar. This is happening this Thursday here in Tampa. If you're in the area, please drop by. Under the community tab section of my channel, I've posted an image that has the information on it. But again, you can email me directly. I can tell you where to go and where it's at. But it's Thursday from 7 to 9:30. Doors open at 6:30 for networking. It's across from the airport. It's at the Hampton Inn. It's called Avian Park, West Shore, right there. World of Beer is beside it. In fact, we'll probably go there afterwards if you're in the area for a drink. So if you're if you're in the area, I'd love you to drop by and check us out and engage and chat, and we'll meet, etc. So anyway, thanks very much. We'll hopefully get one video out later on this week, and we'll go from there.